Hello my crochet friends, in today's video I'm going to teach you how to hand sew a lining onto your crochet project. I know two methods for doing this and I'm going to teach you both. The first method has visible stitches and is easier if you plan to continue crocheting after adding the lining. The second method has no visible stitches, however it might look a bit odd if you plan to continue crocheting afterward. Regardless of which method you choose for your project, you first need to learn how to hand sew for both. So let's get started. First, choose the fabric you want to use for the lining. Now with my fabric folded, I will cut around my crochet project. I do this by eye, but I try to leave a distance of about 1.5 to 2 fingers. Now let's choose the side of the fabric we want to sew on our lining. I want the shinier side, so I will fold the fabric so that the shiny side is facing inward. Now pin the sides so they stay in place. Using a ruler or another straight object, draw a line along the sides where we will sew. If you have dark fabric, you can use chalk or even flour to mark the line. Now place your crochet project on top of the lining and check if it fits within the lines we drew. Thread a needle with a thread that matches the color of your lining and tie a few knots at the end. I will use black thread just to teach you how to sew, and then I will switch to white because my lining is white. Insert your needle into the fabric a little away from the corner until the knot we made prevents the thread from pulling through. Now insert your needle near the corner, stitching backwards towards the opposite side of the seam we want to create. We now have the first visible stitch. Next, insert your needle so that it's about the same distance as the one we just made. Just a quick note, I'm making the stitches larger than usual so you can see them clearly. For your stitches to be stronger, make them about half the size of the ones I'm making here. Now let's insert the needle into the stitch next to it. Now we just need to repeat. Insert the needle with a distance similar to the size of the other stitches. And then insert the needle back into the last stitch we made. Repeat the same process following the line we drew on the fabric. Once your thread runs out or you want to stop sewing, insert your needle into the last stitch made. Cut the thread and remove just one thread from inside the stitch so you can tie a knot. In my case, I didn't want to stop, I just ran out of thread, so I will insert my needle a bit away from the last stitch so we can continue and repeat the same process. Once you reach the end and remove your needle the way I just taught you, repeat the exact same process on the other side. Here I finished both sides and switched to white thread with smaller stitches as I asked you to do. You can notice that as soon as you look at the other side of the fabric, the stitches are almost invisible. Now the rest of the tutorial depends on the method you want to use for your project. I will explain the first method now, and at 7 minutes and 10 seconds I will explain the second one. To start, turn your project inside out, and you might notice that mine isn't finished yet. This method is perfect for that. Now, with the right side of our lining facing out, let's place the lining over our bag, which is inside out. Let's fold the lining a bit as I'm showing and pin it to the bag so it doesn't move. You should place it exactly where you want it to be sewn. Now let's do the same stitching technique we used on the lining to attach the fabric to the crochet. I will start by inserting the needle only into the lining so that the thread end is hidden between the crochet and the lining. Now insert your needle a bit behind to create the first stitch and repeat the same process you did on the sides of the lining. Once you're done, since I don't want the end of the thread to be visible, I'll weave it into the crochet in several directions and tie a knot at the end. But honestly, if you have another idea to secure the thread, that works too. You don't have to do it this way. And this first method is finished. It's pretty easy once you learn how to end sew. For the second method, we will turn our bag inside out and your lining should have the right side facing out. Now place the lining inside your crochet project. Place some pins to help keep the fabric in place. Let's start sewing the same way we did on the sides of the lining. I recommend inserting your needle from the side with the crochet. In my opinion, it's easier to visualize what we're sewing this way. Don't sew all the way around. You will need to leave a hole big enough to turn your project right side out. Once you've finished the stitching, pass your project through the hole to turn it right side out. Now we need to close that hole. Thread your needle and tie a knot at the end as usual. Insert it into the folded edge of the fabric just like I'm doing here. And then insert it into the folded part of the crochet as well and pull the thread to make the stitch invisible. I accidentally went out of the frame, but I'll repeat it a few more times so you can see. Ignore the sticker I put on the screen. I just fell while I skating for the first time and hurt my hand a little. Since I didn't want anyone to be bothered by it, I decided to cover it up. Once the hole is closed, tie a knot and weave in the thread on the crochet to hide it. You don't need to do it exactly the way I'm doing, just make sure the thread is hidden and secure. And it's done! I really hope you found this tutorial easy to follow. If you have any questions, you can leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I can't wait to have you in my next videos. Bye bye!